Today, we're going to peel back the curtain on the websites you use every single day. We're going to look right past all the glossy images and fancy designs to see what's really going on underneath.
I mean, have you ever stopped to think about it? What even is a website when you get right down to it? It's not just some magical page that appears on your screen. It's a piece of technology, and it's built piece by piece. So let's see how it all fits together.
You know, behind every beautiful, slick website you see, there's a skeleton holding it all together. And that skeleton? It's basically just a plain text file, filled with a bunch of instructions written in a special language. It's the absolute starting point for everything we see online.
Okay, the best way to wrap your head around all this is with an analogy. Let's think of building a website just like building a house. Seriously, you need a blueprint, you need a solid structure, you need to decorate it, and you need to hook up the utilities to make it all work. We're going to walk through it, step by step.
First things first, the blueprint. Every house has to have a solid frame, right? Well, for our digital house, that frame is built using a language called HTML.
HTML is what's known as a markup language. Now, that might sound complicated, but it's not. It just means you use these little instructions called tags to label your content. You're basically just telling the web browser, hey, this chunk of text is a big heading, or this part is a paragraph, or put an image right here.
And here are some of the most basic building blocks. You've got your H1 tag for a main heading, a P tag for a paragraph, the IMG tag, well, you can probably guess that one. These are like the literal 2x4s and support beams of our website structure.
So here's the magic trick. When you write something like this, an H1 tag around the words "the global chef," the browser doesn't show the tag itself. It reads that instruction and displays this, a big, bold heading. The instruction disappears, and you're left with the result. Simple, right? But this is just the bare bones frame.
All right, so the frame of our house is up, but let's be honest, it doesn't look like much yet. It's time to make it look good, and that's where CSS comes in. This is the paint, the furniture, all the interior design choices.
And this is what our website looks like with only that HTML frame. You can see the structure, there are headings, there are paragraphs, but it's kind of ugly. It's a house with bare walls, no carpet, no style at all. It works, sure, but nobody's going to want to visit.
CSS, which stands for Cascading Style Sheets, is a whole separate set of rules that tells the browser how to style all those HTML elements. It controls all the visual stuff, the colors, the fonts, the spacing, the layout, everything. If HTML is the noun, CSS is the adjective that describes it.
Now, you can apply these style rules in a few different ways, but the way the pros almost always do it is with an external style sheet. Just think of it like a master design guide for the whole house. It makes sure every single room has a consistent professional look.
And boom, this is the power of CSS. This is the exact same HTML content we saw a second ago, but now it has that CSS file attached. The difference is just huge. We've gone from a bare, boring frame to a fully decorated, inviting home.
But a house isn't just a pretty box, right? You need it to actually do stuff. You need electricity so you can turn on the lights, plumbing for water, and appliances that work. In the web world, this is interactivity.
See, a website with just HTML and CSS is called a static page. It's like a printed brochure. It looks exactly the same for every single person who looks at it. A dynamic page, though, is different. It can change and respond to you. It shows you customized stuff, like your own social media feed or personalized shopping recommendations.
So how does that happen? With scripts. The first kind is called a client-side script, and the most famous one is JavaScript. These instructions run directly inside your browser. Think of them as the light switches and faucets inside your house. You flip a switch, and the light comes on immediately, right there on the page.
The other kind is a server-side script. These run on a big, powerful computer somewhere else, a web server. These are like the power grid in the city's water main that connect to your house. They do all the heavy lifting, like grabbing your user profile from a giant database before sending a totally customized page just for you.
Okay, our house is built, it's decorated, and it's fully functional with all the utilities hooked up. There's just one last, crucial step. We've got to put it on a piece of land and give it an address so people can actually come and visit.
Getting your website online is actually a pretty straightforward process. First, you rent your plot of land from a hosting service. Then, you give it a unique street address by choosing a domain name. You upload all your files, and then you just do a final check to make sure it looks good for everyone, no matter how they're visiting.
And that's really all there is to it. The web hosting is the land your digital house sits on, and the domain name, like google.com, that's its unique street address so that anyone in the world can find it.
So, there you have it, the whole anatomy of a website. The HTML is the frame. The CSS is all the decor and style. The scripts are the utilities that make it functional. And the hosting and domain, that's the land in the address that make it a real place on the internet.
So, the next time you click a link and land on a page, remember what you're really looking at. You're not just visiting a page, you're walking into a carefully constructed digital house. Now that you know how it's built, what parts of the construction are you going to notice?